How negative talk literally kills your motivation. So, I think we've all been here before. There might be situations where it might not have gone well, and all of a sudden and immediately you start talking down to yourself, and you're giving your internal monologue. If you were to imagine it, you might be blaming yourself for things that has happened, like, you know, something's bad's happened and you're like, it's always this, or, you know, I'm such a klutz, I'm so stupid. And I think we naturally default into negative talk quite easily. I don't know if it's a culture thing, but I definitely think that for a lot of people, they are very self-critical of themselves, and this is also a good and a bad thing. And I think when we are unaware of the negatives of it, it can be a really bad thing, because it's no longer serving you in terms of pushing you towards becoming a better version of yourself, but rather holding you back from really what you want to achieve and your goals. So yes, negative talk is literally killing you, because it's preventing you from growing, preventing you from reaching your potential, and it's taking the joy out of life, if I'm all being honest. And I think the mental game is one where it's constant. It's from the moment you wake up to the moment you sleep, and throughout the day, I think we go through, I can't remember the research or the accurate number, but it's easily 100,000, you know, a couple 100,000 of different thoughts that we have. And if it's negative, and it's all negative, then we have a problem here. So, but there are ways that we can turn that around with self-development, and there are techniques where you can learn to help you become more resilient towards negative self-talk. And the first step of this is to be aware of it, and that's having more awareness and being more aware of the words that you use consciously. And intent here is very important, because we throw around words quite easily, and especially, you know, as people, when we're on autopilot, our habits essentially dictates on, you know, the kind of vocabulary that we use. And it's surprising in how, if you were to change your vocabulary, then a lot of other things change with it. You know, if you start using positive words, more words of affirmation and gratitude, then naturally you would feel you know, the power and the words that embodies, essentially. So the positivity that positive words embodies, you would actually start feeling that. Whereas if you use negative self-talk, like saying I'm not good enough, or it would never work for me, or I'm scared, I'm fearful, these negative words do have an effect on the way your brain functions and how you go about with your mood and your feelings and stuff like that. So the first step of essentially managing this, and because I don't think is the thing you can cure, you can build a stronger mindset, but there's always been moments in time in your life where you would be facing challenges, and that's a good thing. It is actually a good thing to have these challenges, because it allows you to grow. Because if you think about it, if you have all the good stuff, right, all the positivity without any of the negativity, then you don't really have anything to measure against, and you can't really improve that way. So as people, as humans, we should be constantly seeking challenges and pushing outside of comfort zones. So it is good that you do have these thoughts from time to time. I think the difference is not letting these thoughts control you and subsequently lead you down a path where you don't want to be, essentially. So the first step is to identify these negative thoughts and the internal monologues and what you say to yourself. That's very important, being self-aware to these things and how it can affect you. Second step, once you have identified it, is to then objectively look at these statements and understand that it's not true, right? And it's not true about you. So you could be looking at a situation and you're telling yourself that you're not good enough for the situation, but that's not true. That's only ideas that you put into your head, and it's not, because from someone else looking from outside in, they could see you as the most capable, as the most friendliest, the most knowledgeable person that they know. So the self-doubt that you have in you is only a perception of what you give yourself. So for you is, you can do a technique called labeling, where you actually label your feelings. And once you've labeled the feelings and identified it, so as an example, let's say I'm feeling frustrated that my current remortgage is taking way too long and it's costing me lots of money. And that's a live scenario, it's frustration. So I would take this feeling that I feel inside me and just basically identify it as frustration. And then you can then see that it's nothing to do with you, right? It's just a feeling. And you can separate the feeling from facts and reality. And by doing that, you can then look at the solution. Okay, what can I do to not feel like that anymore? Could I do something with the situation to improve it? Do I disregard it and just accept the fact that things take longer nowadays? Because ultimately, feeling the negative feelings of frustration is not the best way to go about it, and it doesn't help anyone. And then the third step is, once you've identified, separated out the feeling from the situations, you can then look for the solutions, or if there is a solution to it logically. And if there isn't, I mean, sometimes the solution could be just, it is what it is and don't worry about it, right? Because even just the identification of that feeling in itself, the thoughts of that in itself, is very liberating, because it then frees up your mind to then focus on other things that is more important, or give you happiness in a sense, and it lifts a weight off your shoulders to then allow you to move forward with your life, essentially. So this is a technique, is essentially you're controlling the inner voice inside you, using labeling to label what the feelings are, and then identify behind it what sort of need that you might need to do in order to get rid of the feeling, or you can identify it and then ignore it altogether, which is in some ways a better solution, because at the end of the day, there are going to be lots of external factors that is not because of you. It's not something that you've done, it's just what happens. And the only thing you can control is what goes on in here, and which is what you should be controlling, because anything else doesn't really matter, because that is what it is. But what you can control, if you can control that, then you're on a path to greater self development, and in a way, you being a better version of yourself, improve confidence, improve self-esteem, and also giving you a shot of motivation, if that's what you need, to carry on focusing on your goals and grind away, and do what you need to do to ultimately, for me, what is achieving happiness and inner peace. And these are the two things that are on the top of my list when it comes to checking in with myself and seeing where I am at the moment. So yeah, I hope that's been helpful. Let me know if you agree or disagree. Again, I love your feedback from you guys, and if this has been helpful, feel free to like it, follow myself, and send it to a friend that might need words of encouragement, because you never know, when it might help someone. So yeah, I hope everyone has a great day, and I'll see you again soon.